name's Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. I don't know if you could see in the monitor or when the show started that there are a lot of balloons around, and it's an exciting, extraordinary time for us here on Bridging Heaven and Earth. This is our 150th show. We started 7 or 8 years ago, and this is our 150th show. We've never missed one. And right from the real get-go of doing Bridging Heaven and Earth, we've been so blessed and fortunate in doing it, in experiencing it, in just bringing so many people from all over the world to share their gifts with us. And the amount of love, and as most of you know, this is done on a volunteer basis, and everyone on camera, everyone in the control room is doing it out of love, not for fame, not for glory, not for money, not for greed, which in this day and age is an extraordinary thing. And what day is this? Usually we don't say what day we're doing the show because we want each show to stand on itself, and it goes out all over the world and it keeps replaying over and over again. So we try to make each show in a way separate. And there have been some shows like after 9/11, 2001, where we mention the dates or other dates. And we're shooting this or filming this December 27th, 2002. So there have been the holidays all over the world. There's been Christmas and Hanukkah and Ramadan and all the holidays celebrating the love, celebrating the connection between us all. And yet, at this moment in time, coming into the new year, coming into the year 2003 in a few days, coming into a new time, a new opportunity, new resolutions for us all, what are we coming into? What exists now? I mean, is there not, again, a crisis in Korea, a crisis in Iraq, a crisis in the axis of evil, a crisis in Africa with droughts and famines and AIDS devastations? So what can we, who are watching this show, who've dedicated themselves, because I know so many of you call all the time to share your love and your support for what we're doing here, and how from the very beginning our intention was to put out that vibration of love, to spread that vibration of love, to just over and over again help to recognize, to remember how connected we are, how there is an experience of the oneness, of God, of truth, that every one of us could have, not eliminated because of your color, your race, your age, your sexual preference, your height, your weight, your hair color. Nothing can separate you from having that experience of love, of God, of truth. So coming into this new year, coming into this year of tests and trials and so many things that we could see that can seemingly separate us, isn't it time we came into love? Isn't it time we healed the heart? Isn't it time we came to make that commitment, that resolution to heal the heart? And so, yes, this is our 150th show. You know, we intend on continuing. Whether we'll have 151st, who knows? And we do it one show, one breath at a time. But each show is really dedicated, again, to that experience. And tonight's guest also has dedicated her life to that. Kelly Sullivan is a spiritual teacher. She's an author of an extraordinary new book, Discover Your Inner Goddess Queen, which is an inspirational journey in her life, her biography, from a drama queen to a goddess queen. She also has a wonderful CD out, which is Visioning Journeys, which are extraordinary pieces of vibration, of love, of enlivenment, where we can all be taken to that other experience. And we also have, because we've gotten a lot of requests of the 2 Lessia music videos that we haven't shown in a while. One is Enough God and one is Spotlight. So again, the opportunity for tonight's show is in coming into this new breath, this new day, this new year, to resolve again and again and again to try to make every day a day of love, a day of joy, a day of connection, a day of understanding the true meaning of this life. So it's a show where that possibility is available to you again. So please join me in a short meditation, then we're going to have videos and Kelly, and it's just going to be a wonderful show. So please join me in a short meditation. If you don't know one, just relax, settle into your chair, and then we'll have Kelly in the videos. Just a minute. Thank you very much. So we're going to start tonight's show with a Alessia video. It's called Enough God. It's written and performed by Alessia, and it's on the Alessia Bridging Heaven and Earth CD, Enough God.
Teach him how to hate, don't ask why, just do it. Teach him how to kill, so well there's nothing to it. Teach him how to load and fire for the Holy Land. Take a little more, make him an angry man. But isn't there enough God to go around? Aren't there enough soldiers underground? Isn't there a bit of peace to be found? Isn't there enough God to go around? And on the other side sits a mother crying. The son is back, but not for long, 'cause he lies dying. Another faceless boy shot down for their holy land. Though she prays for him, she can't really understand. She says, isn't there enough God to go around? Aren't there enough soldiers underground? Isn't there a bit of peace to be found? Isn't there enough God to go around? People that close their eyes, they don't see what they're doing. 'Cause they'll trade anything for the dreams that they're pursuing. They burn, they bomb, they bargain for their holy lands. But nobody wins that way. Nobody ever can. Tell me, isn't there enough God to go around? Aren't there enough soldiers underground? Isn't there a bit of peace to be found? Isn't there enough God to go around? Isn't
welcome everybody. We're on the set with Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, Alan.
Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Yeah.
Great song, too.
Yeah, it's really nice. So you wanted to start
And
tonight's show.
congratulations on your 150th
Isn't that exciting?
anniversary.
Isn't it? It really is pretty exciting. Everybody put in a lot of energy and effort to get here. I mean, it's just,
Teams of angels.
yeah, really a lot of grace. So you want to start tonight's show with a little prayer? Okay. Why don't you do that?
Okay. I'd like to invite everybody to turn within with me for a moment. Let's all start by taking a nice big deep breath. And just for a moment, as we exhale, just place any concerns or cares or worries outside the door of your mind. As we inhale, we breathe in the sunlight of the Spirit into our hearts, into our minds, into our bodies. And we enter into our own inner sanctuary right within our hearts, where the sunlight of the Spirit is always shining. We just allow ourselves right now to become flooded with God's golden light. And in this moment, we just recognize the absolute power and presence of Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit, this power that is everywhere all of the time. This power that is unconditional love, this power that is healing and revealing wisdom itself. And I know that as this power is everywhere, that means that it is right here in this holy instant, and it is right in the very place where any viewers are, where you are sitting at this instant. And I know that God does not know how to separate itself or how to divide itself, so I know that it is fully activated right here and now, and I accept my oneness and wholeness within this, as I know absolute wholeness and beauty and perfection on behalf of each and every soul that is listening to this prayer right now. I know that Alan is absolutely at one with God. He is absolutely a magnificent, brilliant soul that is here to avail himself to pure love, pure light through and as him. And every person who is listening to this, I know that they are connected to this oneness. They are absolutely connected with the divine in every single way. And so I know that this 150th anniversary marks a great blessing. It marks a great phenomenon. I know that heaven on earth is being bridged at this moment. I know that miracles are happening right now simply because we have tuned in and turned on to this consciousness. So I know that miracles are taking place right now. I know that heaven on earth is the order of the day. And for this, beyond what words can say, I know that we are all blessed here. And all the people that we want to call to mind right now, that we love, that are in our circle, that are around the world, we know that they are all blessed because we say so. And where we are gathered, we are powerful. So the blessing has taken place. Thank you, God. Thank you, Goddess. And so it is. Amen.
Wow. I guess the show's over.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Drugs or alcohol.
Oh, they did have the...
They
No,
had
I
their-
don't want to go there.
They had their place, but, you know,
Right. They
no
did.
hangovers.
Right, exactly. So, the title of your book is to go from drama queen. Now, what kind of drama queen were you, and when did you discover that you didn't really want to do that anymore?
Well, first of all, drama queen isn't just about me. It's kind of the title of a phenomenon that I call. It's basically the experience of separation, and it's not just for women, it's for men, it's for humans. So it's easy, I think. I love the term drama queen because it's so visual. I imagine this frenetic, freaked out woman that's just, you know, completely lost her marbles and is screaming at everybody or feeling like a damsel in distress. And men do that too.
No, they just start wars. No,
They start
no
wars, they kill
problem.
each other. It's
No,
what
there's
being
no
a drama queen or a drama king is what happens when you forget that you're connected with God. When you forget that you're connected to all the love that you need or want or desire. When you forget that you already have it all within you. Whenever you're operating from scarcity or lack, you're a drama queen or a drama king. In the moment that you remember you're at one with it all already, right where you are, that's when you access the realm of spirit, of the divine, or that's when you become a goddess queen or a divine king. And when did I do that? When did that happen for me? Is that your question? It's a long story, but I'll try to make it short. It was during it seemed like a tragic time in my life. I was ending a relationship that I thought was it for the rest of my life. And all of a sudden I got the guidance that it was over. And it was right at kind of the peak of the relationship. It hadn't deteriorated yet. It was like, in a great place, and it was time to go. And I didn't want to go. It was very traumatic. And I'm skipping to the chase, but I was completely lost and feeling freaked out about this and couldn't stop crying. I mean, I'm somebody who cries sometimes, but it usually begins and middles and end. There's an ending within a few minutes. This time it didn't end.
So weeks you considered never ending?
No, it was like...
By the third week you felt like, oh my God,
Noah's Ark came,
since
exactly.
Early,
the animals started to gather. It's
good.
true, I know. Really, no, it was probably a couple of days. I mean, I didn't sleep,
right,
it was awful. Anyway, I felt lost. I felt like everything that I knew that was solid in my life was gone, and I felt like I had nothing to stand on. And so Had
you had any spiritual training or any history of that before that at all?
Yes, I had started on a quote-unquote spiritual path. I mean, I can say I've been on it forever or my whole life, but consciously several years before. And that was great, and that was working to a certain degree. But at this point, all that I had learned wasn't fixing it. All my tools felt broken. Felt like my house was falling down, and I was trying to build it up and keep it from falling apart, but it wasn't working, and everything was just like I was in the midst of an inner earthquake, and I was at a loss. And I like to know the answers. My personality likes to have some kind of control over what's going on. I felt like I didn't. I know, but sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. And at this moment, I absolutely was clueless, and reaching for straws, I called my practitioner, Nirvana Gale from Agape, and he's...
and they're the Church of Religious Science for people who are unfamiliar with that.
Yes, yes, and I called Nirvana in desperation and said, I need to book a session with you right away, I'm falling apart. So he said, come right away. So I came over a couple hours later, completely just a mess, and basically asking him to fix me. This is what's gone wrong, help me, fix me. And instead, in the past, he would basically help guide me to find my answers. This time he said, oh no, sit down and shut up. We're going into the silence, which was not what I wanted.
Had you done meditation or the silence
I had
before?
done meditation, but at this moment, I didn't want silence. I wanted answers. I wanted somebody to point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. And he said, no. And he refused. And if you know Nirvana, you don't argue with Nirvana. So I tried to be a good student, and I shut up and closed my eyes. And in a nutshell, he basically said, you need to connect with your inner wisdom now. You need to find your inner goddess queen. And that was the first time I'd ever heard those words. And within, I don't know what the time frame was, but it was probably about 15, 20 minutes. And within that time, I felt something happen to me. And it was... To date, it was the most profound spiritual experience I had ever had. I felt like I connected with my higher self, my goddess queen self. I went from all of a sudden feeling completely lost to feeling as big as, I felt bigger than the sky. I felt like my heart opened so wide, and I felt completely calm and completely filled with peace, more than I ever had. And I felt like all the answers were right there, and it was the most phenomenal experience. And so I proceeded to have a dialogue. I kind of saw my inner drama queen self side by side with my goddess queen self, and there was an embrace between the drama queen and the goddess queen. And I asked her before the meditation was over, okay, I need to do this more often. I don't want this to just be one of those great experiences that's gone and I tell friends about it later. I want to maintain this. How do I do this to this degree? And what came to me was, hang out with me, spend time with me.
Right.
And then I got this vision of a room full of women in meditation, practicing connecting with their inner goddess queens and then sharing about it. So it was right after that that I kind of called my girlfriends and said, let's have a goddess queen gathering where we all do this so we can build our goddess queen muscles. So I started a gathering that has been going on for almost 5 years now.
Why do you think it was in your path to do more so in the female arena?
I think it's at this juncture. I don't mean to exclude men. I'm not one of those women. It's our Goddess Queen gathering, by the way, isn't a man haters group at all. It's by the time
My God.
it's not.
Oh
Some men think it is, or they're like, oh, some sexist thing, but it's not. I mean, it's about empowering women to learn how to love the men in their lives better. A lot of the husbands of the wives that come to my gathering insist that their wives go, because when they come home they're always so much more loving and kind and generous, and it
They'll
does
make them move in with you.
it's true, but by the time a woman leaves the Goddess Queen gathering, she tends to feel, or this is what I've heard them say, that they feel 10 feet tall. They feel that their challenges shrink down to about the size of a pea, and the solutions become enormous, and they feel supported, and they feel reconnected. So when they go home, their kids, their husbands, their co-workers benefit.
There's no reason what you're doing, and from your book and your CD, I mean, there's no reason that can't translate to anybody in any language, in any age, in any...
Absolutely, and I've led many gatherings that include men. This just happens to be something that's
the way
right
the
now.
door that opened for you in that particular way.
And it doesn't, and I don't mean it to exclude men. I mean, I want to write another book that includes both. So thank you for bringing that up. But it is for everyone.
Right. It seemed to me, I mean, when I was listening to it, it seemed like I was out. You know,
No,
it just happened to be in a male body.
Right, but at this moment, some men buy the book because they want to learn how to empower the women in their life to be Goddess Queen, so they can learn how to support her in that, how to connect with her intuition. Like, honey, hey, read page 52 because it tells you, listen to your voice, or take a bubble bath, light some candles. Let me support you in that, because they only stand to gain and benefit from that. So,
do you think most men feel that way, or is it, to some men, is it like a challenge, or some, they're fearful that the woman will be a goddess queen and realize that they're not a goddess king, or so, out you big dopey lug.
No, I think there's both experiences. I've met some men that find out about the name of my book and they go, oh, goddess queen, oh, I knew a goddess queen once, and that was a nightmare. Well, she must not have been a real goddess queen, because the connotation, I mean, there's two different kinds of queens. There's the evil queen that we have archetypally in a lot of the fairy tales that we've grown up with. So when you hear the word queen, you can think of the off with your head, evil, no mercy. But really, I think the true definition of a queen is someone who serves from a full place, someone who has love and kindness and gifts to give, and she's a servant from a high place. So I think a lot of men, there's a growing number of men that are tapping into this, and that love the idea of a goddess queen. It empowers them. It holds a space for them to meet them there if they're not already there, because there's no hierarchy. It's not like one woman, just because she's tapped into a goddess queen, her essence within her, makes it not possible for the man she's with to rise to the occasion. There's room for everyone to be big. And like you were talking earlier tonight about the 100 monkey syndrome, the more of us that tap into our greatness or our divine nature, the more it's easier for the rest of us.
Wins.
It becomes cool. It becomes in vogue. It becomes kind of...
Well, the only problem with in vogue is that it's out of vogue.
I don't think this will go out of vogue. But why not make it cool? Why not make it like, oh, hey, they're doing it, I can do that too.
So when you had this epiphany, I mean, part of it was that you wanted to experience more of it, and you wanted to set up formats and systems where it was available to you in a more regular basis, in a way.
Exactly. Well, it didn't seem that logical to me. It was just, I felt so humbled at this moment. I mean, I had gotten, in my past, I've had many burning bushes. I've had many arrows, clear, direct arrows pointing in certain directions that I've gone, not right now. I don't think so. But for some reason at this time, I was so humbled and I was so available that I just said, Yes to anything. She could have said, go to Zimbabwe and dig a hole and bury yourself in it. I would have gone. I would have done whatever this guidance would have led me to do. It just so happened that the image was crystal clear to bring a room full of women together to build the muscles. And that sounds like a masculine term, but it's just, it's like there's certain grooves in the brain.
Yeah, build momentum, really.
Build momentum or build a groove, because if you've got a groove, a drama groove, if you're really quickly apt to go into hysteria at a moment's notice over anything, then it's easy to go there. But if you build a groove of taking a deep breath and remembering the oneness, remembering the wholeness, and remembering that all is well, then it becomes easier to do that the next time. So it's kind of like building a groove or building a muscle so that it just becomes easier. You know, you kind of paint yourself into a corner.
Yeah, a new momentum, a new paradigm for yourself.
Yes, and similar, and just like building a muscle, if you build a muscle one day, it's not like you can rest on your laurels for the rest of your life. You have to keep it going in order to keep it toned. Otherwise, whatever other muscles you're working out will take over.
And then you like kind of reached out to people, and people were really wanting to do it and really supportive and really saying,
I was so grateful. Yes, the women, as soon as I called them, they were like, yeah. And in fact, I have a few friends. Can I bring them? I mean, it was great. We had about 15 women that showed up immediately that just, I've been waiting for this.
And so you like lead prayers and guided meditation?
Yeah, it was all very organic. All I knew was that I was going to say a prayer just to set the tone, and that I would lead some kind of a meditation that, with the intent of each person connecting with their inner goddess queen, sit there in the silence for 10, 20 minutes, and then talk about it. That's all I knew. And from there, the women had these extraordinary experiences, got visions of their lives. I mean, women made trajectory-altering decisions based on the guidance that came to them in that group, and the visions that were shared, people still talk about to this day. I mean, our lives have blossomed. For the core group of women that have come, you know, you see them and they've blossomed.
And how long after you started the groups did you decide that you wanted to make it available to more people in a way that to write a book and do the CD and all?
The moment I got that initial vision, I came home and I started writing. I just wanted to anchor it in any way I could. I wanted to make it tactile and real. So I just started to write down every little piece of information that came to me. I didn't want to take anything for granted. I felt like I went the opposite extreme from how I had been before, taking a lot of burning bushes for granted. Now I was taking any little ember and writing it down. But what kind of brought the book together was a friend of mine from San Francisco. I was sharing what was going on with me, and she said, "Oh, I want to lead a goddess gathering. I've got a group of girlfriends that I know would love this, but how do you do it?" She said, "Could you write down kind of the format?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I can do that." So the moment I started writing down the format was the moment the book started to take shape. And then I ended up, the little format, I thought I was going to give her one page, but by the time I gave anything to her, it was about like this.
Yeah, actually, it turns out it's like almost like a 7-week, or did you set it up specifically as like a weekly thing and unfolding that way?
I've set it up. My vision is that women all over the world would have goddess gatherings. And I wanted to make this book easy for women to do. Women just like my friend Mia that wanted to start a group and didn't really know how. I wanted this to be a tool that would empower them to do it. So it kind of gives you step by step to walk you through 7 weeks. And the goddess gathering doesn't have to end at the end of the 7 weeks. But once you've got the 7 weeks going, at that point you can feel free to make it up on your own or take that format and adapt it. So it was just, I don't know, it was just meant to get people off to the right start and to make it as simple and as easy to follow. I've found that with metaphysics and with a lot of the spiritual ahas I've had, the more simple and practical I can make them, it seems like those have the most effect. So that's what I wanted to do with this book. Like, give it to somebody so they could take it and run with it.
Keep it simple, stupid.
The KISS phenomenon.
What we try to do on this show.
Bringing heaven to earth.
Right.
Taking all this mystical wow and going,
Yeah, it's here.
Here, touch this, feel this.
Yeah, great. All right, so maybe what we'll do is show the video, and then we'll come back and we'll go over maybe some of the weeks and do, you know, a visioning journey and stuff like that. So the second video is Spotlight. It's written by myself and Leslie. It's performed by Leslie, and it's on the Leslie of Bridging Heaven and Earth CD, Spotlight.
He's cleaning up the studio, everyone's gone home, waiting for his agent, staring at the phone. So many lonely nights surrendered to this new CD, just counting on that record deal to finally set him free. Well, stars shine bright in the spotlight, but it's mostly high up in the spotlight. Be careful what you wish for, what you dream. Things are never quite the way they seem. Her image in the mirror is what she values most. Well, it wants to be an actor or a major talk show host. She'll do anything to put her face upon the TV screen. Anything to get there, no knowing what it means. Well, stars shine bright in the spotlight, but it's mostly high up in the spotlight. Be careful what you wish for, what you dream. Things are never quite the way they seem. The other kids, they all used to laugh and play, but somehow they still feel small. One day they're gonna learn that fame and fortune don't make much difference at all. Billy carries around his basketball kit, he keeps her pen in hand. He'll write a big-time novel and he'll make it as he planned. But too much adulation can wreak havoc on his soul. And when it's said and done, all the glitters isn't gold. The stars shine bright in the spotlight, but it's mostly high up in the spotlight. Be careful what you wish for, what you dream. These things are never quite the way they seem. The stars shine bright in the spotlight, but it's mostly high up in the spotlight. Be careful what you wish for, what you dream. Things are never quite the way they seem. Things are never quite the way they seem. Things are never quite the way they seem.
Hi everybody. Well, I hope you liked the video Spotlight. We're back on the set with Kelly. Hi Kelly.
Hi, Alan.
So why don't you give people an example of like a visioning journey like you do in one of these sessions. So let's see how that
I'd
would
be
go.
happy to.
Good.
Okay, so once again, I'm going to ask you to turn within. Let's just start off by taking some deep breaths. And as we exhale, we're going to just again place any cares or concerns or any distractions outside the door of your consciousness and turn within with each breath that you take. And just allow your entire inner being to be filled with light, flooded with light. I'm going to ask you to imagine, if you can, with me, either visually or energetically, a beautiful, I call it the mansion of expansion, but this can be, it can be a simple, cozy home. It's whatever feels like the most beautiful, sacred sanctuary that you could imagine. And I'm going to ask you to imagine that you are in the midst of this mansion of expansion, this place where infinite possibilities reside, where you are surrounded by unconditional love and the fulfillment of all of your dreams And in the midst of this sanctuary, imagine that there is a throne that has been custom tailored for you. And imagine that you now are seated at this throne. And as you take a seat here on this throne, allow yourself to feel energized. Allow yourself to feel a beautiful electricity moving through you that just aligns your spine and all your chakras and opens you up in your mind and your heart. And imagine that there is a beautiful magic mirror right in front of you, reflecting back to you your highest self, your goddess queen or your divine king essence. So look at yourself in this magic mirror and see sparkling eyes, a glow that is so bright that it's almost difficult to see because this light is so bright, brighter than the sun. And feel that your heart is so open that you can embrace the entire world. Your compassion is endless. Your wisdom is infinite. Just envision who you are as your highest goddess queen or divine king. And right now, as you expand with every breath that you take, as you allow yourself to sit in this being, getting comfortable, coming back to home sweet home, remembering that this is who you truly are. This is your most natural, effortless self. I'm going to ask you to take a look out the window of this mansion of expansion, perhaps across the street or across the river, whichever it is that you see or connect with. And I'm going to ask you to envision the Lack Shack. This is a place where the inner drama queen or drama king resides. It's a dilapidated shack where everything is falling down. This place in consciousness where no matter how much you have, it's never enough. This place where the glass is half empty. This place where you feel alone and separate. And envision now your drama queen or God or divine, not divine, your drama king self stepping out of the Lack Shack, feeling magnetically pulled toward the mansion of expansion. And feel this magnetism pulling the drama queen or the drama king with every breath towards the mansion of expansion, towards this infinite place of unconditional love, infinite possibilities, oneness, wholeness, beauty, wisdom, power, grace, healing. And now your drama queen or drama king self is at the threshold of the mansion of expansion. And notice the door of the mansion of expansion flying open. As you enter now into this grand place, this palace of love, this sanctuary of heaven on earth. The drama queen or the drama king walks in, magnetically pulled toward the goddess queen or the divine king. And in just a few moments, with a few breaths, feel a reunion beginning to take place between these seeming polar opposite aspects of yourself. As I count from 5 backwards to 0, this reunion is going to take place by the time I reach 0. 5, they're becoming closer together. In fact, their breathing begins to synergize. The heartbeats of these two aspects begin to synergize. 4, 3, as they become closer and closer, they begin to embrace. 2, 1, and 0. And just allow yourself to feel the fusion, the synergy, between these two aspects of yourself, the drama queen being absolutely enveloped by the infinite love of the goddess queen, the drama king being enveloped by the love of the divine king. In fact, now the goddess queen or the divine king becomes even more loving. As loving and as light-filled as they were before, this is now infinitely more expanded. And this love reaches out and expands and embraces not only the entire world, but the universe. And so right now I'm going to ask you to just take a moment and direct your attention to any particular challenges you may be having in your life at this current moment. It may be difficult to connect with the challenge, but if you are able to just bring this higher light to that challenge, to that place where there is a concern, or there appears to be lack, or there appears to be difficulty, this being a time that's right before New Year's, right at the end of Christmas. This can be a time for breakdowns that are on the verge of becoming a breakthrough. There's a collective intention that's being set. There's collective healing for this place in consciousness that you have your challenge. Just feel this place becoming infused with this light, becoming infused with divine intelligence, divine wisdom, divine healing. Feel something cracking open. Feel something breaking through right now. As you take a moment and set an intention for yourself right now. Although it is pre-New Year's, you can set the intent now. In fact, you may be watching this when it's not around Christmas time. This may be even in the summertime. It doesn't matter. Right now is the perfect time to set an intention. And envision that it is now fully manifest. Your version of heaven on earth, your particular specific role in co-creating heaven on earth. You are saying yes to this. It is being fulfilled through and as you in a harmonious, synchronistic, synergistic, magical, beautiful, healing way for the highest good of all concerned. You are a light that lights up every heart, every mind, every soul that you come in contact with, simply because you have taken the time to open to this realm of consciousness yourself. So just give thanks for this time that you've just taken to take a quantum leap. And in gratitude for knowing that these intentions are already fulfilled in the mind of the divine, I am grateful and I release this knowing it is done. So it is. Amen.
Wow.
That was the fast forward version.
That seemed like you covered a lot of ground. Actually, the show's been off for about 3 hours.
God, what?
It was the 4-hour version. I know. The crew is immobilized.
Where'd they go?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
It's a difficult thing to imagine. But, so, I mean, you find as you do this, just that more and more momentum's picking up around it, and more people seem to be really open to that kind of experience. And
Yes, I do. It seems like the term drama queen seems to get people's attention. It always seems to bring a smile, and they go, oh, I know a drama queen, or oh, I can be a drama queen. How do you become a goddess queen? And it seems like there is a lot of attention, and people are interested in how to do this, which is really inspiring. I always tell people that there's a million different ways to do this. One visualization that I use is I envision that I'm driving in my car, even if I'm not. I mean, I live in LA, so I spend a lot of time in the car, so I use a lot of car metaphors. But I envision that I assign my goddess queen to the role of driver as I'm driving up the high road towards the mountaintop of my life. My goddess queen, my drama queen, oftentimes wants to drive the car. She wants to make the decisions. She wants to, wreak havoc, or she's reactive and wants to get what she wants when she wants it now. But if I make the intention, no, she can't drive the car, I'm not going to bind and gag her and stick her in the trunk of the car, because that won't work either, because she'll find a way to pry her way out and then the car will get in an accident. But if I allow the drama queen to sit in the passenger side or in the back seat if she's acting up, then we can synergize and drive together up the high road. So I tell people, don't get rid of the drama queen, don't get rid of the drama king. There's no getting rid of this aspect. There will always, at least in my perspective, there will always be some element of this in our lives. And once that part of us has been exposed long enough to the wisdom and the guidance of the goddess queen, then there isn't so much of a contrast or so much of a polarity. In fact, the drama queen aspect or the drama king can be transformed into a pretty juicy part of ourselves. It doesn't have to be our evil twin or the part that we're always embarrassed of or shoving under the carpet. It can actually become an exciting technicolor part of ourselves that synergizes. As long as she steps behind the goddess queen and takes her direction, then we're fine. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, actually, there's this book I remember reading, Mount Analog, by Rene Dumas, and he talked about, we have to do certain things. We have to, we have these parts of ourselves. It's just as long as they're a certain percentage.
Yes.
When they get to be too big a percentage and they're ruling our lives, then it gets to be a real problem, because they're not made for that. It's like, a watch and a hammer. A hammer is made for certain things, but if you use a watch for the same thing as a hammer, it's not going to work, or you're not going to be able to tell time with a hammer. So It's like, which is made to run the ship.
Exactly. That's what it's a muscle. I believe our default mechanism is whatever we spend the most time in. So the collective consciousness has spent most time in the drama aspect of life, in the woe is me, look at the news, look at the statistics, everything is falling to hell. That's the collective consciousness. So if we don't spend time cultivating that aspect of our higher self, that's where we will default into. But if we spend time spending some time each day, even if it's just 5 minutes connecting with that core of ourself, then that part starts to take over and it starts to develop a momentum of its own, and then that becomes the default. That we get a flat tire and we default into life is good, all is well. There's a miracle waiting to happen. There's a reason why this happened.
Before or after we kick the tire?
It depends on how close it is. I know. Well,
it's tricky business.
It is, and we don't, and to fall and to kick the tire and then go and then come back into it. It's about how quick.
Yeah, I always think of it as like coming across the center. You want to be centered, and if you're way out here, it's going to take the pendulum's a lot. So you're going to swing to both sides and be, really out there. But if the more and that's why every spiritual path has tools and techniques that bring you into that recognition more and more.
Exactly.
So you're closer. You're always closer.
Always closer, so it doesn't take that long to come back.
Yeah, it doesn't take something traumatic to move you back there, or something that happened to you where you have to go to, cry for, a major scene.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that happens. I think there's a constant caterpillar to the butterfly experience in our lives. Just when we've become the butterfly at a certain point, I think it's inevitable that butterfly is going to begin to dissolve into the nothingness.
Depends if it's the subtlety, if it's gross, or does it take something gross to go into that next metamorphosis, or does it take something subtle? And the more I think you're around that center, around that point.
I think so. And I know that I've read about, there's been many spiritual teachers that have led a very powerful spiritual life, and then they've had these desert experiences out of nowhere where, they've been like stringent and powerfully connected to their principles, and then all of a sudden there's nothing there for a while, and they feel like, God, you've abandoned me. And then, 40 days, 40 nights, however long it takes, all of a sudden they enter into a deeper place. And so it's not like, shame on you, you must not have been listening correctly, that's why you're going through this hard time. Maybe it's scheduled. Maybe some people do just have a more graceful path than others, but maybe that's what they signed up for. I don't know that we can necessarily compare it. As long as we're I think Reverend Michael says this, is the only person we should compare ourselves to is our former self. So if we're listening and paying attention to that guidance as closely as we can, even if we go through a drought where it seems like the answers are nowhere to be found, then that's just part of the path too. And we know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Or that light's actually where we are, even though it seems like it's far away. But we're going to become a butterfly again, and those wings will be bigger and brighter and more luminous than they were before. Just because you're a butterfly now doesn't mean that...
As soon as we remember that, we're not in the drought anymore, is the problem.
That's what helps.
That is the little
we need those things to keep us...
that's what faith is, that we'll get what we need when we need it. So we're never thinking we're the lack, but, that's all the past, and all the tools are to rub us up against that experience of abundance, of fullness. Yes. So much that's what we identify with. So then, the Father and I are one, or the Goddess Queen and I are one.
Yes.
There's no separation. There's not I and God. There's just I am that I am, and God is,
Exactly. And I think that it counts most. I mean, it always counts. But to me, to be able to remember the one that's on Thursday at 3 o'clock.
That's what
if you can't remember it at Thursday at 3 o'clock,
that's the count point.
Where are you?
Friday between 9:30 and 10:30.
That's pretty good too.
That's the people have to remember during this show, and they go off and do whatever they want to do. So,
exactly.
Right.
But it's when it's like when everything's going your way, it's easy to feel very spiritually connected. Like, wow, this money in my pocket, and everybody loves me. Wow.
If you don't take
If you don't
take credit, you don't have to take blame. So at some point, you say the credit ain't worth it.
That's true.
Because I don't want to take the
whatever
other
your
side.
version of things going well for you is.
I don't want to.
But it's easy to do that. I remember somebody said a long time ago, it's easy to feel connected with God when you've got money in your pocket, but when you don't, if you can feel connected even when you don't, that's when it counts the most.
Do you think money in your pocket is the key, or just...
Do I?
No, just... You use that example?
No, but it's one place. It's one tangible, it's a human place. It's a place to really bring heaven consciousness, because it's a place of density. I mean, money is a physical thing, and I know for me that's been one of the areas where I've had, it's easy for my drama queen to freak out in that area, but I know that I'm doing well when that area is fairly stabilized, when there's a fluctuation and I'm still peaceful. So that is one area, and it's not the only area, but it's a great one. It's a great place
don't you think like relationships are another area?
Oh.
I noticed after all these women's groups. Had that ever come up?
Once or twice on Thursday between 3 and 4.
You mean one group in San Francisco came up for a couple of minutes?
Those drama queens. Yeah. My God, let me tell you. Relationships, to me anyway, that's been such the path. That's been the place where I've been the most challenged, and where the most light has been brought in. And thank you, Dana, my partner. He's been an answered prayer. We just got married last June.
Wow.
So I feel like I've earned this relationship.
Wow.
Yeah. He's been a great teacher of mine. Anyway, don't get me started on that one. I'll never shut up.
The show's almost over, so you can't go for too long. Not to worry. Actually, before I forget, if anybody wants any information on Kelly, the book, workshops, Goddess Queen gatherings, call me, Alan, 805-687-2053, 805-687-2053. Also,
got new versions of the book that just came.
Yeah, actually, and these versions got sparkles on them.
Yes.
So we're very excited.
And there's a journal too.
And there's a journal. Mm-hmm. Okay, where would you like, in 30 seconds, what would you like people to take out of the show? That they saw that they're in tears now, but what would you like them to take out of it?
I'd like them to take with them the fact that all of the answers, all of their heart's desires, everything that they need or want is right in the center of their being. And that place, this Goddess Queen consciousness, this place of abundance, divine King consciousness is accessible. It's right here in the center of us. So connect with it, not just for you, but for the highest good of all. The more any of us do this, the more we're doing our part to bridge heaven on earth.
Wow, well, there's an ending. There's the bridge of heaven and earth.
Thank you.
Again, you know, I just want to thank everybody for all the support you've given. I mean, all the letters and calls we get literally from all over the world. So we love you. Thank Kelly.
Happy 150th anniversary! Yay!
Good night.
And all
God
the
bless
angels
you.
that have helped.
We love you. Thank you.
Namaste.